Alright, so today we're going to be doing a beginner's guide, or just a guide for everybody. If you watch this whole video, you will learn something new. So what we're going to start with is summons, because this is the first thing you're going to be doing. This is probably the reason you're playing the game, is there's a cool crossover. You want to get some of these units. So the way you summon at the start is you do a 5, because your first summon is guaranteed a 5-star, and then you do a 50, because if you do a 50 right away, you'll only get one 5-star, but if you do a 5, you'll get a 5-star on this one, and then if you do a 50, you'll get another 5-star. And then we're gonna go over Alch. So right here, this is very enticing, the All-Star Alch. You can get crossover units, but the chances of getting a crossover unit are so low, it's unbelievable. They don't even tell you the chances. Like if you go in here, details, there's nothing that will tell you the odds of getting them. It's so low. So I recommend doing these, the GS specific banners. They start at 5,000 elk, and then the second pull is 7,000, and the third pull is 10,000. And you have a 1 in 15 chance of getting the main unit, which is always a solid unit. And then we're going to go over the rerolls. So if you didn't get the units you wanted, like whatever crossover unit you wanted, a meta unit, I would suggest getting a meta unit and the unit you want from the crossover. And then if you don't, you go here to menu and you click deleting personal information. And then you check all the boxes and you delete it, and then you get sent back to the title screen and just restart from there. Alright, and then we're going to go over the shop. So, if you did want to spend money on this game, there would be two things I would buy. I would buy the dollar pack 100% of the time. Buy this every time. It's going to be up here or right here. I don't have it there because I buy it every time. And then the GC pass, right here. One of the passes. If you want it, if you were thinking about playing this game for a while, I would get the pass. And then if you really wanted to, you could get SP arts. They're pretty cool, and you get a free equip with every single one. And some of the equips are really good. The MLB pack is pretty good. This one, it's only $2, so it'll help early game if you really wanted to. Step ups are usually good, but they do get really expensive towards the end. And then like right here, there's you get the $1 pack, and then you would go down here and get this $1 pack, and you'd have 55 paid gems. And then normally there's a step up summon for crossovers, but it's not there right now because I already bought it. And what you would do is you would do that, and then you would get a max elixir. So with a max elixir, you can max out a unit. We'll go over which units to max later. But right now we're going to go to units, and we're going to start with selling the units. Sell all of your 3 stars, all of your 4 stars, because every 4-star you sell is going to give you 50 elk. And you can put that towards getting new and better units. 5 stars, there's goal cats that'll be here. Sell those, they'll give you a bunch of money. And these are the only ones you should sell. And then we're going to go over how enhancing works. So, for awoken units, you just click on them, go right here, and then you put up metal chickens, you can hold it down. And then Tasmons are for right here, where you see those numbers. If you put Tasmons in, your base stats get raised. So right now these are max Tasmons, but if they weren't, this would be a lower number, and this would be whatever their max is. And then luck buffs. So the more luck you have, the more drops you're going to get. We'll explain that. I guess I'll show up a little diagram on screen. So 80 luck is 1 extra drop. This is from like all the quests you do. 80 luck is 1 extra drop, and then all the way up to 300 luck is 9 extra drops. And the way it works is whoever the leader is, the leader can have up to 300 luck. And then for solo content, that's all that matters. Is max is 300 luck, and Yeah, and then in multiplayer content, the leader can have 300, and then all the other three units max out at 100. So those three will get 2 drops of each, and then the leader will get 9 drops if they have luck 300. And we'll go over luck later, um, luck gems, but you can also get luck from limit breaking dupes, and this is a luck buff. The number one thing you should get is your crests, because that makes it so you can put an extra crest on. We'll go over crests later. They're not something you really need to worry about starting the game. Now we're gonna go over evolving. So once you get a unit to like their max level, it'll stop at a certain level. You have to evolve them. So right here, I would need to get these to evolve them. But on most units, I don't know if I have one right now. Most of mine are already awakened. Yeah, right here. So I don't have these, so I can just swipe, and then I would be able to use 150 awoken souls to just awaken them right away. So if you don't want to farm giant bosses or anything, you can just do that. You won't be able to awaken as many units, but there's not that many units that are really worth awakening. And then we're going to go over limit breaking. So right here, limit break. He's already max limit broken, but we'll go over right here. So he's max limit broken right here, 5. So with all of your awoken and 5-star dupes, you should be limit breaking them. Because every time you limit break with a dupe, you'll get 500 alch, which is what you would get if you sold them anyways. And then once you get them to LB5, if you limit break again, you're going to get 500 alch and a rainbow gem. And those are very important for getting true equips on your better units. And that's about it for the units. We're going to go over what equips to get for free. Like these are equips you can just go get right now. You might have to complete a certain main story quest to unlock side missions, or you have to be a certain rank. I don't remember. But we're going to go over which ones are good in here. So right here, this guy, both of these are solid equips. This is a really good 4-star equip because it has passive physical resistance. And then this is a good magic equip because it gives arch gen to whoever's wearing it. And then we're going to go to Berwick. Arc Ignite is probably the best 4-star support that is in this whole pool of side equips. Then we're going to go to Thetis. Adamas Gear is a solid taunt tank equip. So a taunt tank is someone who tanks damage for the whole team, and then they have a single shield, and they're tanking damage for the entire team. So you would put this on them, and then whenever the boss is using an art or you think you're gonna die, just pop that on, and you should take less damage. Okay, and then we're gonna go over Rosetta. Asterisk, it's not the best, but just to have a 5-star sub. We'll go over a better one later, but this one is team-wide Archgen. It's pretty good for a starting equip. Then we're going to go to the Juno. Neither of those are good. The other Juno has good equip, a good equip. The Majestic Crest, it'll give you Archgen, and then it's also a heal for light units. And then we have Leon's, which has X-Gate and Axis. Axis is like you put it on a single unit, it'll give them 100 Archgen immediately, and then X-Gate gives you 120 over 12 seconds. So every second you're getting 10 Arch Gauge on a single unit. They're both very solid single Archgen equips. Okay, now we're gonna go over Sistina. So Supernova right here is good on, Earth units, if they have a 5-star physical equip, it'll arch gen. And then the Courage is an okay 4-star support. I'd rather have Arc Ignite over all of them. And then Orvel, he just has a really good farming equip. So if you Grand Destin, if you throw this on something, it'll just be able to clear early game ads really easily. The animation is super fast. It'll just get rid of them immediately. So that's good for farming. And then Eagle, if you wanted to, you could get Arsenal Wall. It's not the best, but it is team wide. And then, in my opinion, this is the best heal equip to get right here from episode 7 of Cross the Blaze, the Shackle of Aspiration Betsfald. It's very solid. It's a 20% heal, 20% more for light units, and 20 arch gauge for spirits. There's not that many spirits, but for light units it's really good, and for everyone else it's pretty solid. There's better equips, but that's definitely the best free one. Okay, and then we're gonna go to Luan right here, episode 8. Splendor. This is a lifesteal equip. So if you can get lifesteal and you need it for some reason, there's some bosses that you just need lifesteal to beat. Splendor is a 4-star magic that has lifesteal on it. Okay, and then we're gonna go to Heart. So the number one thing in Heart is these toe boots. This is the best team-wide 5-star support in all of the side quests. So this is the one I would farm over all the other supports. The other ones are selfish, so if you're starting and you only have one really good unit, maybe get those ones. If you have one or two good units, get those ones so then you can get them up right away and they can do more. But this one, if you have 4 pretty solid units, this one's going to be better. And then the heal equip is okay, but I'd rather have Betsfald. And then Miranda, her shield is pretty good, especially for the start of the game because it is an actual shield. It's not DR. It gives a 5,000 shield. And if they're light, it heals. And then Simon and Darkheart both have like evasion and accuracy equips. So if you need accuracy, you're going to want to grab one of those. And then most of these aren't the best, but Chloe's, this long-eared crown is pretty solid. Now we're going to go over the equips. So everything to do in equips, you can enhance your equips. Normal, pretty normal thing. You just go in here, click on it, and it will make the equip better. Its skill will get better, and its stats will get better. But then we're going to do limit breaking. So when you limit break an equip, here I'll go to a defense equip because I know I have some. So right here, this equip has a 75-second cooldown right now. And if I were to go in here and limit break it, its cooldown would go to 30 seconds. Some of them aren't as good, like this is a pretty substantial increase. Some of them only go down like 10 seconds. But it's definitely worth it. It'll make your equips a lot more useful if you limit break them. Alright, and then we're going to go over selling equips. So this is a little bit more complicated than units. Sell all your 2-stars, all your 3-stars except Divine Robe Aerial. This is a really solid equip for tanking. And then 4-star equips. So most of them are good. Keep most of them. But then these ones that are like sell for 80 alch, most of those ones are bad. Unless they're like crossover ones. Keep all your crossover ones. But Blessed Necklace is solid. And then these two, I would just sell them. Most of the 80 ones, they don't really do anything. But only do this once you have better equips. I'm just showing which ones you should sell when you have the ability to sell them. And then crafting, this is more of a later game thing, I guess. After you do a little bit of farming, most of the crossovers have equips that you can craft. So once you get it to maxed out, you get it level 10 and LB5, and you get some of these insignias. You can go here and upgrade it, and you'll get a little buff, a passive buff that goes onto it. And sometimes they can be pretty solid. Alright, now we're going to go over tickets. So go home, go to town, to the Alchemist, and then exchange. So right here is where you do rainbow gems. So earlier I said when you get a unit to LB5 and then you limit break a dupe on them, you'll get a rainbow gem. So right here is where you would use those rainbow gems, and they'll give you true equips for really good GS units. And sometimes they have true equips for crossover units in here too. So definitely make sure you're getting rainbow gems so you can pick these up, because I know True Gladius is like a need on HK Roy because it gives him a bunch of arch. And then you can pity in here. You can also pity on the banners. This is where you go here and click on it, and then if you summon 30 times, you can exchange your hero gems for the unit. And then you can also go here to exchange materials for everything. There's Alch. I would pretty much just use my Alch on summoning GS units. If you wanted to use it in here, if you needed like an LB stone really fast and you had 5,000 Alch, you could get it. Otherwise, nothing else in there is really worth it. And then this is for awakening materials for getting dragons. And then all of these are Summoner's Roads, which is kind of a later game thing. But if you went in here, you could buy soul gems for ascending your units. And then the GC Pass ticket, if you did buy the Grand Crystal Pass, as a starter, I would say get soul gems to ascend your units just faster, and it'll make the game a lot more fun. And then if you already have all of your units ascended and you don't want to spend tickets on soul gems, the only thing that's worth it is the expert LB stone, because they never give these out ever. And I'll explain who to expert LB later. So expert LBing will give your unit so let's go to one of the units I would expert LB right here. So it'll give him a 6-star. Once you get him to LB5 and then you use an expert LB to get him to 6, he'll get a 6-star magic, and then you use another one to get him to LB7. Usually he has a 5-star physical, but at LB7 he can have a 5-star physical or a 5-star support. And the 5-star support is huge on this guy. Definitely worth it. I'll go over some units that are worth it, but he is the number one worth it on LB7ing. Okay, and then we're to the ultimate hero. I've already redeemed him. So you should get, if you don't have a Fen, get a Fen. He is a very solid Archgener at the start of the game. And then if you do have a Fen, or you don't really need an Archgener, you're okay with the ones you have, and you need a tank, get Sandstone. And if you have a good tank and you have good Archgeners, get Est because he's a good breaker. Or she's a good breaker. And then true equipment. This depends on what unit you get, like whoever's out. If it's a good magic unit and they have a 5-star magic slot, get Exceeds X. But if they have a good physical slot, if they have a 5-star physical slot, get Izanagi. These are the two I would definitely start with. And then once you get more, I would get Sans Pluie is for poisoning. Flambardo is a good tank equip. Knight's Glow I love because it has a giant break, 8,000, which is huge. And in late game, when you have to do break nukes, sometimes some of the content you need to break, and that is a very useful equip. And then Raz is also a really good defense equip. It negates all status ailments, and that can come in handy a lot. Alright, and then the 5-star. For the defense equips, they all just do the same thing for different elements. But I think the best one's probably Gargantua, because you run into a lot of dark. And then the other one I would get is Amaru's Letter Bag, because it'll give your whole team crit for 12 seconds. And that'll help do a lot of damage. But the 5-star ones really aren't that good. And then 4 stars, the only one I would really get in here is the Blessed Necklace. It's a really good 4-star heal. It pretty much just heals. So if one of your units die and they have this equipped on them, they'll just revive. And then Holy Misty Ring is pretty good. It's like, yeah, 30 arts for a single unit. It's not the best, but it's the second best in the 4-star redeem. All right, and then we're gonna go to Arena right here. Definitely do this for all of these rewards. You get a bunch of crystals. It will take a while, but I think it's definitely worth it. And then you'll get some medals to exchange. You could get LB stones, but that does take a long time, and you probably won't save up enough. So I would just get large pots. Large pots, when you're starting the game, energy isn't really a problem, but once you get into late game, it is a definite problem when you're starting to do crest farming, trying to get 4 pluses. And then we're gonna go over missions. So right here, crossover missions. Try and do as many as you can, especially these ones as starters, because they'll give you 20 soul gems. So try to do as many as you can. And then these will help you with awakening units. And then do all the ones above them, and they'll give you a bunch of gems and a bunch of crossover specific stuff. And then the normal missions, try and do as many as possible. Try to do this every day. Limited, I've already done them all, so just try and do all of the limited missions. All these missions, they are like permanent. The number will just go up and up and up, but still just get them done. You're never going to be able to complete them, but the weekly challenge, I never do my daily quest. The other ones just happen. I don't really care about getting those LB stones. And then there's going to be starter missions right here in the top left corner. Make sure you do all those. Just do all the missions you can. They'll help you get as many gems as possible. Alright, and then we're going to go to exploring. So all of the permanent stuff here in events is easy. So like the daily quest is easy. The Tower of Initiation is easy. So right here on the left you see 17 hours left, 23 days left. This one is really easy and it'll give you 5 gems for each clear. So right here, this one will give you 5 gems. This one will give you 5 gems. It resets, but it is very easy. It resets like every week. There's a different version. And then training, these are really easy. They're just easy gems overall. And then all of these ones, they reset. They're different ones. They are kind of hard. You can do like the first 2 or something missions. And then I would recommend doing like the last one in a multiplayer game. And then there's like these ones. These are really late game. Like these are the last things you do. I have everything else in the game beat except these. Because you need really good mono teams. So I would need light units only, dark units only. And then these, a majority of these will be very easy. So all of the starting ones, these are super easy, super easy. And then once you get to the red ones, it'll get a little harder. But then you can just run them in multiplayer and it should be fine because everybody will help you. And all 5 of these are basically the same story. And then these are easy. Giant boss, Summoner's Road, this is where you find Summoner's Road so you can ascend your units. Definitely do this. It doesn't matter how deep into the game you are. You can definitely clear stage 1. It's very easy. And if you have a good team, you can clear stage 2, definitely. And I will have guides on all of them. So just keep an eye out for that. And then all of these are for awakening mats to awaken your units. And then here is Ultra Relics. Ultra Relics are very late game relics because they aren't that good until you farm a ton for them. So, because every time you limit break them, they can go to like they go infinitely. So they'll just get really, really good over time. But they also just take forever. And then this is where you get mats to upgrade your equips and your units. If you just play the game normally, you should be able to get enough to just do it. But if you're lacking in like light, these change every day. So you just wait until those are in. You can do those. And then boot camp with ascended units, once you get them ascended, they can't level up from metal chickens like normal. So what you're going to want to do is go here, go to the top one, and then find a way to clear it. Take off these 3 units, so change, remove, and do that with all 3, and then only the leader will stay, and they will get all the XP because the XP is split amongst whoever's on your team. So if you only use one unit, they get 4 times as much XP. But if you have 4 units you need to level up, just put them all on the same team. It'll make it easier and it'll take just as long. And then the birds, this is how you level up your units. Gold cats, this is how you get gold. You just do these and then you sell them. And then Tasmons right here, you do these and then my recording just cut out, but Tasmans right here, they are used to upgrade your stats. Every unit has a max Tasman level depending on what limit break they are. The higher limit break they are, the better stats they can get. Alright, and then there's obviously side quests. Do those for the equips. Clear all of them for a bunch of gems. And then there's Crest Palaces. I would say stay away from these until you're at least rank 80. Because you can't even do the pros. And the pros are how you get 4s. And that's pretty much all that matters. The 3s, they're good. But if you do a 4, you'll get a... Or if you do a pro, you'll get a 4 or a 3. So once you're rank 80, you can do those. And then you have to be rank 100 to do extremes. Which are just better chances of getting 4 pluses. And then this one up here, I have videos on all of the Novas. They're used to get 5 pluses. So if you don't know how to beat them, you can go watch those. But they are very late game. So keep that in mind. There is a high chance you can't beat them. But you can always do them in multiplayer. Alright, now we're going to go over items. Okay, so you can check the mail right here. I'm going to go over all of these. And then this is where you get all your gifts. And then items. So SP Arts is where you can just look at the SP Arts you bought. I bought way too many. Summon tickets. This is where all your tickets are. Keys. These are different keys to different things. And then items. This is the important one. So here's where you can use large potions. But if you're just playing the game, it'll automatically use them. It'll just like pop up on the screen and be like, do you want to use a large potion? And then yeah, you just click yeah. And then Beacon Stones. These are for Crest farming. Use them on extremes. It'll boost the chances of getting 4 pluses. I used 4 of them, and I did a bunch of math, and I didn't get a single 4 plus, and it was tragic. But that's okay. And then Lucky Apples, these double quest drops, super apples, triple quest drops. I would use these on content where you need to farm it a bunch, but it is hard content. So it's going to like take like a couple minutes. So I would use these so then you can double your efficiency and do it twice as fast. And then Burst Core, they've only given out one of these, but I would only ever use this on a unit you use all the time and they have a 4 plus. So right here, like Summer Miu, if I wanted to use this, I would use this on her and it would give her a 5 plus. That's the only time I would ever use that. And then Max Elixirs, what units to Max Elixir? Only ever Max Elixir Ascended units. Because you can get them to level 120 right away. And before you use your Max Elixir, Limit Break, and then it'll max out their Tasmans too. So right here, if I wanted, so all of my Ascended units are already Ascended, but if I wanted to, I just click on it, and boom, use it. It'll get them to level 120 and max out everything. But as far as who to Max Elixir, if you're just starting the game, just Max Elixir your meta unit, and then they should carry you for a little bit, and you should be able to clear at least one thing of Summoner's Road every day, and make sure you're doing that, and then you can build up a bunch of soul gems over time, and you can ascend other units. But the only way to get a Max Elixir is to do the first step of the Step Up Summon, which you have to use paid gems for. So you have to pay to get one. It is only like $1 to get the gems. I think it's definitely worth it because it'll speed up your game a lot. And then pretty much GS units. So like where's the GS units? Islid right here, SGL. Demon Edge Berwick, Kirasame, BF Mira, Summer Iris. All of those are going to take 220 soul gems. So prioritize them because they're going to be a lot harder to ascend.
And then all the crossover units are going to take 120. So it's not as much, but still, like most people say, you should only use them on GS units because they're a lot harder to ascend. But if you're just starting the game, just use it on your meta unit, get them upgraded right away, and then the game will be so much easier, it'll be so much faster. And then it doesn't really matter who you use it on. Like, there's no specific units that are just like, definitely use it on this one, use it on this one, use it on this one. You should be using it on whoever's like good on your account. I can't give you like, you have to use it on this guy. But next, we're going to go to Flux Drops. These are for Crest, so use it. And then I would go here, and you can change what Crest you have. So it'll stay level 4, but you can change what it does. So that's how when you do farm a 4+, you get a 4+, and then you use a Flux Drop to get it to whatever you want it to be. All right, and then you can see your LB stones, your expert LB stones, your all your LB stones, and then ultra relics. So we're gonna go up here. The units to expert LB stone, I would say there's 3. There you could probably expert LB Demon Lord Rimuru. Not the New Year's one, but the other one. And then the 3 I would say you if you have them, Demon Lord or Demon King Vox. If you do have a good demon team, if you don't, it's like he's not really a good unit if you don't have a good demon team. But you should use it on DK Vox or SGL to get her healing slot because it makes her very good. And then the number 1 unit to use your LB stones on is Islid, because he will go from having a 5-star physical to a 5-star support, and that is huge. And then we're all these 6-star LB stones, you use those on 6-star equips. 5-star ones you use on all your equips except 6 stars. And then gems right here, luck gems. So these are the crossover gems. They're crossover specific. Use them. Some crossovers don't have luck gems, but some of them do. And then right here is where these blessed gems, they're good. They give you 2 luck for each one. But right here and down are really important because these are the ascended ones. So Shangri-La, Overlord, Prisma Ilia, and Kill a Kill. So Fate and Kill a Kill all have luck gems, and you would use them to luck your ascended units. Otherwise, you're going to have to use lucky gems, which is like the GS version. These are just the normal ones. These ones are really hard to get. And then the only ways to get these crossover gems are when the crossovers are live. They'll just be in like the shop, like the event shop. You buy them with your mats. And then lucky gems, I would say save these for GS specific units because you're only going to need 30. So then you can triple crest. But you should be going for like a very late game thing. A very good goal is to get a luck 300 unit. It'll make farming so much faster, and it'll be insane. It'll make the game so like just faster. I don't have one yet. I'm saving up for one right now. I got to do my compendium farm. So compendium farm, town, shrine, compendium, units. Every unit, if you clear 2,000 quests with them, you can get a luck gem. So right here, quest cleared 710 achievements. At 2,000, you'll get a luck gem. So if you do that 300 times, you can get a luck 300 unit. But otherwise, you can get luck gems from just event shop. And that's pretty much it. Or right here in the town, there's little glowing things. I already collected them. But right here at the farm, that can give you apples. Right here in the water, that can give you flux drops. And right here in the mines, that can give you luck gems, which is insane. So always be doing that. All right, now we're going to go over team comps. So on your team comp, you're going to want 2 archgeners. So we have Sunraku, he's a good archgener. And then we have Pencilgon, she's a good archgener. But right here is a bad example of archgen types, which is very important. I'm going to put up a thing on the screen of all the different archgen types. If they are in the same category, they do not stack. Unless they're like the EX1s and EX2s, those ones should stack. but all the other ones do not stack with the ones in their own category. So like Sunraku and Hoka are in the same category. Do not use them together. Their Archgen won't stack. It'll just be bad. But Sunraku and Pensilgon have different Archgen types, so you can use them together. And then you're going to want 2 Archgen types. And then most people say a DPS and a flex, but I'm going to say 2 flexes. Because right here, Sunraku does so much damage, I can use him as an Archgener and a DPS. And then if I needed a tank, I could put in Shiro, and he can be used as a tank and a DPS. But if I didn't have Shiro, I could use like Kiri. Gamagori is also a tank DPS. Shiro is just a really good taunt tank. And then for your 4th unit, pretty much both of these are whatever you need for your content. If you need a tank, use a tank. If you don't need a tank, just more damage. And then for your 4th unit, if you don't need a tank or a healer, more damage. You could also put in this slot a luck unit, a breaker, or a unit that will provide crit or defense ignore. So defense ignore is very important because it'll just ignore the boss's defense. And then a crit provides defense ignore and gives a damage multiplier, but the difference is some bosses are crit immune, or they have crit resistance, so you won't be able to crit them. So sometimes you're going to want the defense ignore instead. And then you'll be able to hit them really hard. And that's pretty much it for team building. You just want 2 Archgeners and then 2 flexes, depending on whatever you're doing. Use those 2 units. And then we're going to go over, the last thing we're going to go over is autos. So right here, you click on your unit, AI set. And then default AI, and then whatever you're using him for, he's an Archgener. So his True Art has his Archgen, but I'm going to go with this one. So then I'm not just constantly using his True Art, which is going to give, like, it's not going to stack. So it's just going to waste some arts because, yeah. So I'm going to switch this to even, so he uses his True Art first. And I'm going to switch this to odd, so he uses his art second. And then the equips, you don't really ever need to set any conditions for these, because you should just always be using your equips. But if it is like a damage equip or a nuking equip, you can set it to wave specific. So you can go here and you can click last wave. So then it'll only use it on the boss. There's a bunch of different things you can do. Just go through here and look at them. So you can do it wave based. You can do it on the last wave. When the boss is or isn't in break status. This one's important, the HP. You can set this to the HP of the boss. It is very useful in some situations. When you're like farming later game content. And then arts, True Arts. This is after however many times they've been used. The main one you're going to use in here is probably this one. Even number of times, odd number of times. So this will just swap 2 of them. So if you want to swap your True Art and your art, you'll do your True Art even and your art odd. And same thing, you just, whichever one goes first is even, whichever one goes second is odd. And then this one is if you wanted to swap all 3 of them. So whichever one goes first, you're going to set it at 0. Whichever one goes second, you're going to set it at 1. And whichever one goes third, you're going to set it at 2. And then when there's status ailments, this one you rarely ever use, but if you wanted to, you would set it like when any unit is, and then you check all of them, and then you put like a Keratos, and it'll just use the Keratos when any unit falls under a status ailment. And then this one comes in handy sometimes. So like if you use a super art and then you want to use your equip right after you use the super art, you do when this unit used super art 1 second ago. And then this is for like defense equips when the boss is using art. So you would put this on your defense equip. And then it would use the defense equip when the boss uses its art. So you wouldn't have to worry about dying. And then these 4 you never really use. These 2 I don't even really know what they do because I'm not aware that units can change their element or their race. So don't really know. And then here's boss specific ones. So like down here, this is the Final Crest Palace. You can use HP. So this is at one of the thresholds. So to use it at that threshold, so you don't have to worry about that. It'll make late game autos a lot easier. Like if I had my, here, I can show you my most complicated auto. It's got those two, and then it has Shiro and Summer Miyu. This does get very complicated. The most complicated one is probably Shiro. So right here, I have them saved. I'll just go here. This is another thing you can do. You can save your equips and your AI. So you just go here and click save. And then if you wanted to load them, you'd go here, include AI, apply. And then this is how complicated the AI gets if you want to farm late game and just auto everything. So with all four of these units having that same type of auto where it's just a bunch of stuff, I could clear the Final Crest Palace in like a minute 40. Yeah, and that's about it for the guide. Hope you learned something new. See ya!